So 2020 had to be a transformative year for your business. It's one thing to design livable space for people. It's quite another thing to design space for living and working requirements. Can you describe for our listeners some of the challenges that your clients present you with to cover their needs of living and working in the same space?
Yeah, so 2020 kind of turned housing needs upside down. Originally, before I should say pre-COVID, it was all about group spaces, this open floor plan living, space for everyone to do anything they could need. And now it's really become um, where people need these separate quiet like little compartment areas where they can work and not be distracted by kids running around
Right.
or animals everywhere. And in many homes, we have two working parents, so each person needs their own separate space. It's been really interesting going into, even former client home. I have a lot of repeat clients.
Mhm.
And just in the last year, I've come back and I've seen our very well decorated living rooms turned into home offices. I've seen clients retreat to their unfinished basement because
Mm.
there's a toddler running around upstairs. Which is good for business because now they want to refinish their basement.
Right.
But yeah, it's been really interesting to me. So, in some of these circumstances, I have a lot of people asking questions about insulation and soundproofing and what materials can be used. So it's been really quite challenging for a lot of people, especially with these open floor plan homes. Um, trying to make it work.
So I think a lot I think a lot in terms of space. In the old notion was that some people needed considerable space to stage a home office. I built a home in 2000 and I designed my own little sanctuary, 1,000 square foot space that was just my office and nothing else. Uh, but real estate is really expensive, and what people buy today may not cover or may not offer dedicated space for working. So, how do you work with your clients to create a space that serves both the living and the working needs?
So, I mean, look, we're talking. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but we're talking over Zoom.
Right.
So much of work life is now over the computer, is over the internet, it's paperless.
Mhm.
People even pre-COVID, I'm going to keep saying pre-COVID.
Right.
Pre-COVID, I had clients who worked from home and they literally had a laptop and they would stick it on the kitchen island and do an entire workday and conference calls right there in the middle of their kitchen. That hasn't changed. We so many people are paperless and don't worry about the storage or so every once in a while I find I have a client that needs a compartment to put a printer or something like that, but other than that, and that we can usually stash in a closet if we need to. Other than that, it really is just about a working surface, about whether it be a kitchen table in a dining room. Some people don't even want a surface, they'll sit on a bed. They just the private space, if that's in a bedroom or in a big closet. We're also very, you know, this kind of caught us all off guard where
Mhm.
one day people were going to the office and the next day they were told they couldn't come in. So
Right.
they went and got all their stuff, and for a good amount of time we weren't sure how long this was going to last, and people would grab folding tables or whatever they could to create their own desk or office environment. Um, as this developed, and as people realized that it was going to be like this for the long haul, it really, a lot of furniture manufacturers have stepped up and have found I mean, everyone has heard about those toilet paper shortages. There's
Right.
also a severe shortage in office furniture, but they've come up with great options for like foldable desks, or something that mounts to a wall and can lift down, or a console table, something very small in scale. It's really just about the aesthetic and what it looks like, because houses, are small, or people don't have as much space. It's so important that at least the look works with whatever else is going on in that room, especially if a living room is turning into an office during the day. You don't want like an ugly office space
Right.
right in the middle of your living room. So
And I'm dealing with that too. My wife and I, well, my daughter and I, we live in 1,200 square feet. And so now we're rethinking about the living room, and we're looking at a sofa brand. It's sectionals and you can kind of put them together, but some of the components lift up and it's storage space underneath the cushions.
yeah, you have to be so clever these days, about everything. It's right now. So I'm in the process of designing an office for a client, and she does need a storage compartment for a printer, but she has a separate like a nice size office, but we're mounting um, almost like a T-shaped desk on a wall, so, with a leg. So she has, the option to kind of go from computer area, at her desk, and then turn around, and right there is a work surface.
Right.
It's a very clever way, but it's not about so much furniture as much as she just needs this surface space, and it needs to work for her.